welcome to the Purpose Over Profit podcast with Darren and Chris, where each week we discuss what it takes to live a life of purpose and profit and explore the lives of people trying to achieve just that. Welcome back to the Purpose Over Profit podcast. As always, I've got my co-host with me. Chris, how are you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you, Darren. I'm really looking forward to this episode.
So this week we have very delighted to welcome professional footballer, St Johnstone legend, three-time domestic cup winner. I don't know how that sounds. I don't know if you can get sick of hearing that, David. And creator of probably one of the best post-game interviews of all time. David Wotherspoon, welcome to the Purpose Over Profit podcast. How are you?
I am very well, thank you very much. I can't believe you're reading off the notes to actually say all that. Surely you've got that in your head already.
There's quite a lot to say there, mate. You've added about 3 of them in the last week, so that's why they're there.
Very true. They should be fresh then.
They should be fresh. So tell us, I guess, where are you just now? You're over in Florida, right?
I am. I'm in Orlando, Florida at the moment. Currently in a hotel room. And we just had a morning training session, and now it's just a bit of downtime, just to let the body recover and reset and get ready to go again tomorrow.
Yeah, and when are you flying out? For those that don't know, David plays for Canada. We'll be speaking about that later in the episode. But yeah, when do you fly out?
When did I fly out, or when am I flying?
When are you flying out to your game? I'm presuming this is sort of your base camp.
Yeah, this is our base camp at the moment. Our game is in Sarasota, so we're actually travelling by bus down to Sarasota tomorrow morning, I think. And then we would do a light training session before the game on Saturday.
Superb. And listen, I appreciate you taking the time. I know right now your stock could not be higher. We were having a bit of a joke off camera, I guess, just talking about, listen, as soon as he's won that cup final, man of the match performance, set up the winner, you're like, oh man, he's not going to have any time for us now. But yeah, so I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. And as you probably know, the podcast's all about purpose over profit. So from a football perspective, was it always going to be football for your purpose?
Yeah, as a young age, growing up, I was always playing football, no matter what the situation was. Even in school, lunch breaks, just even in the summer times or off days, I was always down the park with my brother and his mates, trying to play against them. And so yeah, it was just always football for me, and I never really thought anything else. I did try and stick in at school, but it wasn't quite my best attributes. So football was always the way for me, and I'm very lucky and privileged to have had that.
And has it always been the Saints as your team? Is that right?
As a supporter, yeah. As a supporter, I've always supported Saints. I think it was actually my cousin Darren Wallace. He started us off with the Saints when we were really young. Got us supporting them, and we've always supported them throughout the young years, and always will. They're my home team, and I will always support them.
Dan's a really good friend of mine, as you know, and I'm sure he'll probably bask in the knowledge of that's a tiny part of St Johnstone's success he's brought about by just introducing you to your boyhood club.
Yeah, he will. He'll love that. He'll love that.
So thinking about kind of growing up, I'm sure like you're not alone. There's loads of kids, young boys, girls out there that are, dream of like being in the position that you're at, international footballer, playing and winning cup finals. What do you think made the difference for you growing up in terms of making that leap from schoolboy player to professional athlete?
So I was always grounded. I always knew that I had to work hard for everything, and I sort of take that. I suppose I take that for granted. Just the way that I've been brought up. My mum and dad, just and the family around me always said that you've always got to work hard for what you earn, and I've always done that. I've always put 100% into what I do, and I always will. it's something that I do take for granted, but it's got me to where I am just now, and I appreciate everything they've done for me, because they've made sacrifices over the years, and so is my current family as well, my wife and kids, and they make sacrifices for me as well. So I appreciate everyone that surrounds me and works hard for me.
That's it. I mean, I've read plenty of autobiographies from footballers as well, and managers, and they talk about the support network around them, how important that is, and the fact that the sacrifices your family have to make, getting up early, driving you places as well. I mean, you're obviously playing for Saints, when we'll get onto that when you're younger, but that must make a huge difference to you to have that support network around you, even currently now as well.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive, and it's got me where I am today. So I wouldn't be here without it. And the sacrifices that my family made, especially when I was a youngster, traveling to Glasgow and back and forth when I was at Celtic Youths, was incredible. Just being able to do that and have the privilege of playing football for teams that I grew up dreaming to play for. Sorry, and it's just something that I'll always look back on and be very, very grateful for.
Yes, and Chris and I, like, having worked in SSE up in Perth, we've done that commute like too many times, like, so can completely empathise with Sheila and Ian, your mum and dad, just in terms of making that journey to drop you off and play football.
We've also got a kind of random association with the club as well. So SSE used to sponsor the community kids grassroots football as well. So I've done a lot of work with the Saints in there as well, been in the boardroom as well, lovely boardroom. It's still the kind of mahogany kind of interior from memory, in the kind of
I don't think it'll have changed much.
No.
Most boardrooms don't, like, they all look the same. I always find I've been in one, been in them all, but
it's a bit different when you add trophies to them.
that is true. Maybe it looks a wee bit different to East End Park at the moment. So I like that wee subtle dig. But I'm so glad you mentioned like working hard. Obviously, staying humble. I don't think a lot of people see that as a success trait. But from my perspective, like I since the moment I met you, and I think this is something that's often said about you, you've got a really good, grounded, like, level head. You know, you can work hard and you get that taste of success when you're younger. Clearly, to be proficient, to even be considered as a professional footballer, you got to have some skills and ability. But of course, that can go to your head and that can stop you from working hard. And actually, that network around you, that friends, family, keeping you in a humble state means that you're continually to keep working hard and keep working hard. And you never kind of stop that. So I wonder, like, I guess, from listening to you, just how important that humility is about driving your success.
Yeah, of course. I've always been brought up with having the right attitude. Even when I was like at Hibs youth, there was the kit man. He was always driving into me, saying you need to have the right attitude to get anywhere, and it's something that stuck by me. And even at Celtic youth under 12s, the coach there, he just said the same thing. It was just that you need to have the right attitude to succeed in anything you do, and it's just been drilled into me at a young age, and it's something that stuck by me, and something that I'll continue to do and keep on top of.
Yeah, and I know, like, in terms of my introduction to you, my tongue was a wee bit in cheek talking about like the best interviews of all time. But I think the reason why it was so good, that post-game interview, was the humility. They see how much you care. They want you. They wanted to hear about, you talking about your family and how much they've supported you and stuff. And this is a difficult, like, 18 months for everyone we've gone through. And I think everyone, whether they're a Saints fan or not, I think we're pretty touched by the sentiment of the message. So yeah, no, it was great to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's after I think it was after the semi-final of the League Cup. Was it semi-final League Cup? I was in bits then, and then in the final it's just the same. And then of course the Scottish Cup final was just the exact same. I just couldn't. I don't know if you heard right at the start. I just said I can't speak because I couldn't. I felt like if I spoke, I was going to cry. And when folk were coming up congratulating me, I couldn't speak to them or congratulate them because I just knew I was going to end up in tears, and I was trying to hold it together. But it was emotional. It's what you dream of when you're a kid, and to finally get there and achieve it. The way we have with St Johnstone is just it's just something that will never be lived down, and something that will always be in the memories and of everyone that's involved with the club. And it's pure emotion and adrenaline just coming through at the end. Just how hard we work to achieve these goals, and it just comes out at the end that you just can't control it.
I think as well, it goes back to that work ethic as well, because obviously you'd imagine people be imagine that you're basking in the glory of this great times and sitting with the family just now, but you're out again representing Canada just now, looking to try and get to the World Cup in Qatar as well at some point, which is fantastic. So again, you didn't have that, I guess, that much downtime before again you've got to up sticks and go. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, normally at the end of a season, you have that downtime with your family and be able to just enjoy that sort of close season where you're not having to go and train or work or do your thing, and it's nice just to get a wee break. But if you want to succeed, it's a case of sacrifice. As I said, it's a lot of sacrifice, especially for my family. I'm miles away and I can't do anything to help them, but I'm trying to provide for them at the same time. So it's totally our goal to sort of provide for them and look after them, and that's what I'll keep trying to do as long as I can. And like I said, our careers aren't as long in football terms, and you've got to take the opportunities when they come round, and this is certainly one of them.
I think you've definitely done that.
Yeah, you've absolutely done that. And I want to take back a bit to, like, I know you started with Saints. We've already mentioned you were up and down the A9 to Glasgow, but you were with Celtic at boys, and then you moved to Hibs. So talk me through, I guess, when you moved to Hibs and I guess the decision making around that, because some people would say, listen, you're a schoolboy at one of the top two clubs in Scotland, if you're not a Saints fan maybe, but or two of the biggest clubs anyway, you're going to say. Why would you move from Celtic to Hibs?
At the time, obviously I loved every minute that I was at Celtic, but at the time that year, I was sort of in an age group where I was the younger of the age group, and I felt like I was being left behind. Me and a couple, I think one of the boys from Perth, we were travelling up and down from Perth, and we weren't really getting game time, and it just felt like we were being left behind, and it wasn't like a good time at that point. And I just had that discussion with my dad, and we wanted to get a meeting with one of the coaches just to discuss it all, because there was boys getting professional contracts, and I wasn't part of that, and I was just wanting to know my place and what they wanted to do. And Tommy Burns was great. He was the head of youth at that point, and he wanted to sit down and have a meeting with me, and it was a great honour and pleasure for him to do that as well, to take care of like a one-on-one situation out of all the boys that are coming through in the youth, to sit down with me and my dad and discuss it out. And I just felt at that time that the opportunity wasn't there for me, and maybe I was better off going elsewhere. And at that point, I was in the Scotland squads as well, so I was recognised throughout the leagues, that I could move on to another club and do well there, hopefully. And I knew Alistair Stevenson from my time at St Johnstone, and he was at Hibs at that point, and he was on the phone straight away and asking if I wanted to come through, and I just jumped at that chance, because you looked at Hibs' sort of background, and they were bringing through the youth a lot at that point. They still are, but at that point I was like, maybe there's an opportunity there for me to push on there, and I went through to Hibs, and I got lucky because I was able to train twice a week during the week, and I was still being able to go to school 3 times a week. So I was still trying to do my education at the same time, and I was able to train twice a week full time with with the youths and the boys that were on professional contracts. And even a couple of times I was getting to reserve games at the age of 16, and it was a great experience and development for me. So it was at that point I wanted to be part of that and push forward in my career.
I think that's amazing. I mean, just the decision making at that point for you and your dad must have been so hard, because I've seen an interview with you and these young Saints fans kids in 2013, which I loved, where you talk about how you got to train with Nakamura, is that right, and McGeady and all these kind of people. So these superstars are around you at that point. So you're in that environment.
Yeah. I mean, it was just that one day they had a few players that needed a bit of training, and they pulled some of us forward that were supposed to be training and put us in, and it was just like warm up and small sided games for them just to get a bit of training. And it was like Nakamura, who just signed there, and Aidan McGeady, and I think David Marshall was in goal as well. So it was just being surrounded by those types of players. You were just like, well, maybe I should stay here and push on and see if I can get to their stage. But it certainly was a hard decision, but we felt at that time we weren't looked after at that point, and we felt like it was time to just move on and push on in our careers.
Yeah, and I'm a big proponent of not having no regrets about it, and kind of just finding your own path. There's not just one way to success, and I would say, you're showing that. You started in Perth, and it's like full circle. You've gone to one of the biggest clubs in the country via, probably arguably top 3 or 4 biggest clubs in the country. Yeah. And then you're back at your boyhood club, winning trophies, probably what you dreamed when you first thought about trying to play football in the first place was about, setting up a goal in the cup final for your boyhood Saints. So yeah, there's no direct route to success either. You've kind of just got to keep the same goal but navigate the different path.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a believer as well that things happen for a reason, and that's, and fate sometimes decide it for you, and I feel that way in life sometimes, that's the way it happens. And I always thought to myself when I was younger that I was at the likes of Celtic and Hibs. I was like, right, we'll push on in my career, and then I knew one day that I wanted to play for St Johnstone. I didn't think I would be there as soon as I did, but I never looked back, and it was the best decision I made in my career to sign for my boyhood team at that stage. And what we've gone on to achieve is just unbelievable.
So I want to go back to your first season with Hibs. I remember coming to see you. I think you maybe remember. I think Yogi was the manager.
He was.
Dale, so a few of us, your cousins, were there.
That's John Hughes for people who have no idea who Yogi is.
But I was actually
in the flat. I was staying there.
Yeah. But I remember just such a buzz about that Hibs team when you first broke on the scene, when you first came through that first season. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. You had Derek Riordan and his Stokes. I remember that. I think that first year you were playing Celtic, and Boric tipped a cracker of a volley onto the post. It was like you just came and hit the ground running from Hibs. You speak there about being involved with the reserves at an early age and stuff, and it really felt like that was your time. You were still a young lad. I can't remember, what, 19 or something like that at the time.
19, yeah.
And you got man of the match, is that right? And you scored.
I got
first game, yeah.
My debut was against St Mirren, and we won 2-1. I scored, and I got man of the match. I wasn't supposed to be starting the game. I was supposed to be on the bench, but I think Zumama was ill or didn't turn up. Well, I think he was ill, and Yogi just pulled me to the side and was just like, "You're starting to the right wing." And I was like, "Right, okay." Wow. And I didn't look back. I took my opportunity as soon as I came, and I was ready. I knew I was ready, and it was just the pure excitement of it. It was just incredible, and for that to happen on that day was just something that I dreamed of, and it was something special. And we've still got photos of up on, I think my mum and dad have got photos, and my granddad's got a photo of me celebrating my goal, and it's an iconic photo for me of where I started my career.
I think that's really interesting. I love how you talk about fate as well. So I work with a charity called Crew's Bereavement Care, and the chief exec's a massive Hibs fan, massive. And I was talking to him saying, I think we're going to get David Wotherspoon on the podcast, and he was like, and he's gutted that Hibs lost you, because he talked about this goal where out of defence you pinged it across away to the left winger then crossed it in rather than volleyed it. But on the highlights it only showed you the winger crossing it in. It didn't show you this amazing pass that you made. And he said you were doing that all the time. And even he talked about this Soccer AM thing, the Showboat, which I know you've probably heard so many times, where you basically on your debut, I don't know if you want to tell people about this, about the Derby match.
The Derby match, it was against Hearts at Tynecastle. That was my first one. I think that was my first one on Showboat, because I've got a few. But the first one was away at Tynecastle. I honestly can't remember the score, but at the time I picked the ball up. We were on a sort of counter attack, and as I turned, I saw Michael Stewart coming running towards me. I just pretended what's known as the chop now.
The Wotherspoon chop, I've read. Is that right?
Chop, yeah. I looked up and I faked a long ball and just dragged it inside, and he slid off the pitch and hit the barrier.
Into a board, didn't he? I don't know if he
into
went crashing into the board, but that's how I've got it in my mind.
I think he did. He was going that fast, but yeah, I just remember that, and it was and then someone obviously getting that notification of I'm on Showboat. It was just like incredible.
Apparently it was Abramovich was on it, and
it was sandwiched between who was it that you were sandwiched between?
It was in between. Ibrahimovic was after me, and I can't remember who.
Higuain, is that his name?
Higuain, yeah.
Higuain.
It might have been him, yeah. I can't remember, but I remember Ibrahimovic was on after me, after my Showboat, and I was just like that.
Not a bad sandwich.
Yeah.
So but part of this, and Chris maybe alluded to it there, where you pinging a long ball and it getting cut off highlights, but there was something for me about kind of finding the best position for you when you were at Hibs, and there's kind of been a lot of debate, and like people have spoken about what your best position is. But I guess, how did you find that settling into a first team play, sacrificing in terms of where you were played, and ultimately try to find like the best position for you to be most effective for the team?
Yeah, that first season was hard, because they were I think they were struggling for sort of an out and out right back. And I got slotted in, and obviously Yogi had great confidence in me to put me in there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, because the way we played, we were attacking and wanted to play football, and I was constantly getting on the ball, so it was a great thing for me, and obviously I was going to take the opportunity when it came, and I had to take that opportunity, and being out of position, I didn't mind it at all, because I was starting, so I was going to say yes, of course, like put me in there, I'll do a job, and it was great for my career, my development as well as a player, getting to know different positions as well. So it was a hard time trying to find my right position, but I think I finally found it at the age of 30, 31, playing on that sort of left side.
And to have a signature move as well. I mean, this sounds like something like Street Fighter or something like that. You've got a Wotherspoon chop.
Well, the thing is, I've done it my whole career. And it's never really been renowned. But players, our teammates, always mention it. They know it's coming, but they can never stop it. So they say. So it's something that's obviously come to light now, and I'm very proud of it. It's become more of a habit as well, because sometimes I don't need to do it, but I still do it anyway. But it's great to be noticed.
Well,
like that.
It's still working, right? So keep doing it as long as it's working.
Yeah.
So you find
just ask Gogic.
Set him for a hot dog. So you think inside left, like is that where you're most comfortable? I guess where Saints are playing you right now.
Yeah, just sort of left of a three in midfield, or even left of a three up top. It seems to find a good position in there, and I've settled in really well, especially this year. I mean, under Tommy, he always thought my best position was on the left of midfield, and it seems that way that with the gaffer, should I say, coming in, he's found a formation that suits all players in our team, and especially me as well, because I hit the ground running this year, and I've thoroughly enjoyed where I've played and the opportunities I've had.
And your gaffer does one hell of a belly flop as well, I've seen on social media.
It's one massive champagne slide.
I couldn't get over. I thought the video of that when I'd first seen it was being speeded up, but no, that was like actual genuine speed of footage. Like he went off like a rocket on the floor.
The floor was covered with all the celebrations we had, and he came in just a wee bit later. Obviously, he had to do press and everything like that. So when he came in, and he obviously got egged on to do it, but he had no hesitations in going for it, and it was brilliant. Just part of the celebrations, and it was just brilliant that he was involved in everything, and it was just great to see.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. What to drag this back from reminiscing and having some serious podcast chat now. But like I want to go back to, because part of kind of your journey with Easter Road or with Hibs, sorry, was a bit about that kind of playing the team game. You were new into the first team, and you were like happy, and you could see that you were like you would take the opportunity whenever it was given to you. That obviously. You got the opportunity to move to Saints. What was the driver behind kind of moving there? Apart from obviously them being your boyhood club, was there anything else that was kind of playing on your mind? Anything that you thought, yeah, I'm gonna like try for a different style of football, or what was going through your mind?
To be honest, I wanted to play week in, week out. I mean, I was playing constantly at Hibs, but not. I didn't feel like I was going to be on the first name on the team sheet sort of thing.
Yeah.
And with Pat Fenlon involved, he had me in and out of the team, constantly chopping and changing, and I just didn't feel it didn't
not the right type of chop either. It wasn't a Wotherspoon chop.
Just I had the last two seasons. Obviously, we made the cup final in both seasons, and I got left out of both the cup finals. When I'd played considerably a large part of the season, and it was massively disappointing for me. And it really, I mean, the first one was hard, and I thought just to refresh the next season and get going again, and I did. I knew my contract was ending at the end of the season, and I was pushing for a new one, obviously, and just when it got to the end and we were in the cup final again, I thought surely I'll be involved, and I was left out again, and I thought it was time to have a fresh start, because I mean I loved it at Hibs. I loved the club. I still do. I still have a soft spot for Hibs and everyone involved, and the fans were obviously always great towards me, and still are. I mean the recognition and sort of the support and the fact that they say, "Oh, wish you'd stayed," sort of thing. It's always nice to hear. But it was time. It was at that point time to move on, and I was glad to get the opportunity to go to my boyhood team.
And how did that work for you, or how does that work at the time? Like, give us an insight into, like, do you go and speak to your agent and say, like, any noise up the M90, like any chance of a move there, or Saints get in contact with you? How does that work?
It was just a case of me and my agent, Alan Preston, spoke briefly on it, and after I'd been left out, he was like, I think it's time that you sort of move on, or we'll see what they offer and then we'll take it from there. And then when they did come back with an offer, we felt like it wasn't good enough, and felt like maybe it was time to move on. And obviously he got on the phone to different clubs and whatnot, and to see what happens. And I think Alistair Stevenson was part of the youth at St Johnstone again, and he put my name forward to the new manager, Tommy Wright, at the time, because he'd just taken over. And he just pushed me forward, and that's when I sort of got the phone call from him to come in and speak to him. And when I did, I was just taken aback and wanted to sign straight away, and just wanted to enjoy my football again. I felt like at that point I wasn't enjoying it, and I just wanted to enjoy it again.
It must have been that kind of mahogany kind of boardroom again, walking into that kind of environment.
Well, to be fair, we didn't have that meeting there. Had the meeting. We had the meeting through in the executive suite, which is just a bar area. We had it in there with Tommy and the chairman. It was just me, Tommy, and the chairman, and I think Alan Preston was there as well. And we just chatted. We didn't talk. We talked obviously football, but we didn't talk about contracts or anything like that. It was a case of just chatting away and he wanted to get to know me basically, and what type of person I was and what I wanted to do in my career and things like that. And it was really nice, and I felt at home straight away. And it was quite easy to sign on a dotted line.
I love that. I love how they're kind of, you're both checking each other out to see if your values match their values, to see if they're the right fit for each other. And a conversation, people hearing this would be like, what? Like a footballer just going in for a negotiation, but just having a conversation over a coffee. It sounds unusual, but it happens.
It does, yeah. And it's the way he worked, and it was great because that's the type of person he was. Tommy was an honest guy, and still is. I'll be very grateful for what he done for my career as well. But at that time, he just wanted to get to know me, and that's what he likes. He likes the personality and the characters and different players, and that's what he wanted to know and get to know. And it was great to chat to him and the chairman at that time.
I'm sure you're not the only one that's grateful to Tommy for having that conversation and making that decision. Because here we are, what, three trophies in the last 4 years? 8 years, sorry.
8 years. 8 years. Yeah.
So when was the first one? 2014.
2014, the first year I'd signed.
First year you were there, it's like the Wotherspoon factor already hits for the ground running.
Well,
I mean, that first year was incredible. To come in, I'm sure it was his first signing that he made, and to come in, and I played all 50 games that season, which was just incredible, and it was something I wanted to do. I wanted to play every game, and that's what he done. Obviously, he knew the times when to sort of give me a rest or bring me on as a substitute to make an impact or whatever, and he certainly done that for me, and we had a great balance to that, and we had European football that year, which was an amazing start to it as well. So it was a great season for us, and then go to the end and you win the Scottish Cup. It was just incredible.
You talk about purpose, and honestly, like the fact that I've got here, I know you've done over 300 appearances so far, and yes. you just signed a 2-year contract extension, plus you'll be up for a testimonial at one point. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
For a player that is never heard of these days. Players chop and change constantly. And for a player to want to be in his boyhood club and to have a testimonial, be the most decorated player, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it has happened that way. I mean, I haven't looked back. I mean, I just wanted to play as many games as I could, and I've done that throughout my career. And I mean, sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side, and it's not all about finance or whatever. Sometimes it's just about where you're happy and where you're enjoying life, and that's been the case ever since I joined Saints. I mean, I was happy at Hibs, but things changed a wee bit, and I've been happy ever since I joined St Johnstone. And it's great just to have that family around me and supporting me whatever I do and whatever I choose to do. And yeah, it's just been a great pleasure to be part of everything that we've done so far.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have the key to the city in no time. I'm sure a few people have told you that already. But I've heard that like a bit about St Johnstone. Like there's quite a few people that have come through and done similar sort of like in the not too distant past that have stayed with the club for like a long time.
Well, it just shows the consistency in the club and the loyalty in the club, to see the figures that we've produced over the years with players staying for like close to 10 years a lot of the time, like the likes of Stephen Anderson. He was the longest serving at the club, and he made the highest number of appearances, and you've got the likes of Chris Miller as well, and then Liam Craig, Murray Davidson, Dave Mackay, all of these guys that stayed at the club for so long. It just shows the consistency throughout the club.
Yeah, like 100%. And then I guess thinking towards your international career as well, David. So you're over in Canada business just now. I know we kind of glossed over the early years, the fact that you've represented Scotland every like level. You were under 17s, 19s. I know 21s. You were on a great team there. Talk to us about that, like representing, I guess, well, both countries, because now you're in a full professional for Canada. But talk to us first about, I guess, putting on the dark blue of Scotland. Like, again, talking about every boyhood kid's dream. But how was that?
It was amazing when I was growing up. Just getting picked out of the whole of Scotland to represent at a youth level was incredible, and to go away and play with some of the best players in the country was magnificent. And to get the trips I did when I was young, going away to these places, European places, I ticked off so many European countries as I went along. It was just quite the experience, and it was great to play against all these different nationalities and their style of football, their culture, and you learned so much from it and how they played. And it was a massive experience for me when I was growing up. But unfortunately, it didn't work out after the 21s, and I sort of just went along in my career as I normally do, and I didn't think twice. I mean, I sort of just went on as I did, and then it got to that stage where I just kept playing, and then all of a sudden John Herdman came in as a coach at Canada, and he knew I'd been in touch just about representing Canada, and he was straight on the phone and he said, "Get your passport sorted because I would like you to come into camp." This was 2018 in March, and he was like, I would love you to come into camp and represent Canada." And I was like, "Well, not a problem. I'll do that. Not a problem." It's a great opportunity for me, and it's something that's in my family is been a big part of my family's life, especially my granddad's. Him and my grandma were over in Canada for 12 years. They lived there for 12 years, and my mum was born there and lived there for 5 years. So it's a massive part of my family's background, and it's a great honour to be able to represent this country, and it's just a incredible time for the country as well, because we've got such amazing talent and players that are winning silverware all over Europe and even in the US, and so it's an exciting time for us.
And how do you find the differences there, like at international level? Like, do you find that you need to change your style of play? Obviously the people you're only kind of put together, these are coming from everywhere, the Canadian team as well, right? So I suppose less so in the Scottish camp, but these are coming from everywhere. You're kind of put together in a camp for a few weeks, and you've got to try and build that synergy and relationship. So, like, talk us a bit about how do you need to, I guess, change your approach to playing and interacting, I guess, when you hit that international camp.
Can I just add in?
Yeah.
Are you a celebrity already because of the one chop, the Wotherspoon chop, if you like? Because they must be. I was going to say the one chop, the Wotherspoon chop. So they must know that already, and it must be kind of the kind of target for everyone who's going to play against you going forward.
Yeah, no, I will. I certainly think I'm part of a massive squad here that I've got unbelievable talents, and it's great to be a part of. It's a pleasure to be a part of. But going back to Daddy's point, just like getting the group together, and I think the coach John has built this team from the first day he came in, and he's got ideas and his philosophies and everything, and everyone's believing in it and buying into it, and we want to do what's best for everyone involved and the country itself, and we want to put it in a better place. They feel like the country's not had that sort of someone to look up to or icon or whatever over the years, and we're hoping to do that for them and be able to leave the shirt in a better place every time we put it on. We're representing everyone in the country, and we want to add that to our list, and everyone involved just takes great pride and privilege to play and put on that jersey.
Wow.
And is that the goal then? Is the goal the Qatar World Cup finals? I know you've got a good few hoops to jump through. You're going to be playing a couple of games shortly. You got your first goal recently as well, actually, right?
I did the last camp in March. I managed to get my first goal.
A tough win, right?
Yeah, it was a tough victory, but no, we set out to do a goal, and it was to break the record of the best victory we've had, and that was our goal in the game. Obviously, no disrespect to the team we're playing against. We just wanted to set out to break records, and that's what we done on that day. We went out with a mission, and that's what we done. We carried it out, and it was great to be involved in playing, surrounded by so many good players, and to get my first goal was incredible, and to get 3 assists to add to the team's collective was amazing, and I'm hope to build on that this camp as well.
I guess as well, it's no disrespect to the opposition, but it's having that winning mentality, isn't it? It's having that inbuilt into it to keep winning.
Yeah, it's the belief. We need to keep the belief in the team and the winning mentality to keep going. Sometimes you can go through a game where you just think, right, the game's done. We can sort of relax now, but we want to keep that mentality going throughout the whole 90 minutes, and we'll continue to do that and build on our success so far. And we want to keep going and push for that World Cup.
Yeah, we wish you like every success with that. And thinking about, I think someone asked you this in the now infamous post game interview that you done after the cup final. But how far can you take Saints now? Like, what's the future? There's almost an element of going like disbelief. It must be as a Saints fan going like we're like the second best team in Scotland in the last decade. Like clearly, arguably, like the most like the best club in Scotland in the last year, most successful in the last year. Like where do you go from here?
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously been asked that question, and the answer is we need to keep our feet on the ground, and we need to work hard and build on our success. We've got an exciting year next year with European football, and we want to progress in that as much as we can and provide success for this club. And that's our aim to do that. And in the league, obviously, we want to get higher than 5th. Our main goal always every year is to avoid relegation, because we know we're not the biggest club in the country, and we need to look out for ourselves. And our aim is to avoid relegation, but we want to finish as high up the table as we can.
And I was going to say, that's just honestly fantastic, just to hear that you constantly want to push yourself and your teammates and the club forward. And the fact that you've signed that extension as well, and the fact that you're going to be lasting to a testimonial beyond that phase as well, it just shows that dedication and that humbleness as well that you've got instilled from you from a very early age.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a great time in my career, so I want it to continue, and I want to provide for this club. And the success over the years we've had with European football and cup wins and league success has been great, and we want to carry that on and push forward. We know we're obviously not a big team, so we want to get as much success into this club as we can.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to touch on a couple of points, but just that, the Saints, how you've described the club, very much matches with how I kind of see you as a person, humility, but like dedication to hard work and kind of working for absolutely everything that you get, but staying grounded 100%. And like when I remember back at university, I'm going back 20 years or something ago, I remember looking at there's a lot of clubs going to the wall, and St Johnstone were one that I remember picking out that kind of had that. They didn't get too excited. They weren't overspending. It was always a very well-run club. They didn't, they never got carried away with themselves. So they always had their feet firmly planted to the ground. And it's great hearing, even from you, you've won 2 cups in a year. And like one of the main priorities will be avoid relegation, because it can just take that one season.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen that from, clubs down south or anywhere where you've had a level of success, and then the next year you've just absolutely bombed and you're out of the league.
Yeah. It's massive. It's massive to keep that focus, and from where this club has come from to where it is now, we want to continue that progress that we've made. You see, over the years we've sold players for fees, and the chairman's put that into the club and used it wisely, and it's why we're in this situation now, that we're in such a good situation financially and winning trophies, is because of that stability, and everyone that surrounds the club knows that. and it's not getting carried away with yourselves and focusing on what is here and now and progress for the future, obviously.
And am I right in saying that it's been a great year as well? That I've read here somewhere that you're a Chelsea fan as well. Is that right?
I was when I was growing up. I was a Blues fan. Yeah, I was always watching Chelsea as a young kid, and I think it was just the blue colours that drew me to them. But no, when you watch the players in the old times, but sort of Gianfranco Zola and Roberto Di Matteo and all those sort of players, you're just in awe with them sort of players, and you wanted to. Especially on Football Manager, when you sign these players, growing up, you were like, "Oh, these guys are amazing."
You're making me laugh. You're making me laugh, David. I remember signing you in Football Manager. That's a scary thing. And you played a blinder, honestly.
Brilliant.
What position did you play on, Chris?
It was right wing, actually.
Oh, there you go. You need to move him over to the left. You need to move him over to the left midfield. And thinking forward then for you, you touched on it yourself, like footballer's career, you're maximising your playing time as possible. Every decision it feels like you've made, and we've spoken about it here, is you've been wanting to play football. I want more game time. I'm going to go and like represent Canada and get involved with that, that country. And you're over there absolutely doing it. You're pushing them on to World Cup qualification. Have you started thinking about what comes after football? Having thought about your purpose right at the start there about football for such a long time, have you started thinking about what's next?
Yeah, I have. Sort of this year, I started my coaching badges because I love the game and I want to get back to the game and I want to help these young players coming through. So coaching has been on my mind recently, and obviously it's funny because it's a scary thought having played football for your whole life and you don't really know anything else, and it's become your life and your lifestyle, and it's hard to think what's next because your career doesn't last forever. So it is something I've thought of in the past few years and something I want to be ready for when it comes. And coaching, I enjoy it. I've trained so many times over the years and I've seen all these drills and everything like that, man management, all these, I've experienced it all. So it would be good to put my opinions and my thoughts through that as well, to help others coming through. And it would be something I would look to do in the future, hopefully.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, and like it's great to hear that you're already making that progress just now. I mean, what you're 31 just now, 31, 32, 31,
yeah.
And like so you've still got a good few years playing ahead of you. But I love the fact that you're already starting to think about that and thinking of that transition. And do you think about purpose, I guess, in football? Like you're still going to be in that place. You're still going to be contributing in the way that you can as well, and trying to get that game time for yourself from a coaching point of view. So yeah, it's fantastic to hear you're already thinking about that.
It is. It's obviously growing up and these people that have coached me over the years, you look at them and how well they've helped me in my career, and I feel like I can do that for people coming through and help them in their careers as well.
Especially if they can learn off a legend at this point as well.
Well, I hope they can learn something from me anyway.
Yeah, they're not learning dress sense anyway. I was telling Chris before you came on the call that I call you White Sox because obviously, like, I think when I first met you were just always talking about the White Sox on. There we go. For anyone watching on YouTube, the White Sox are still there. I was just I could believe, like, who's wearing white socks? But like, I guess like you're kicking about. You're an athlete. I guess that's what you do. You're always exercising, right?
Always been White Sox. Always will be.
Always been White Sox. But yeah, listen, David, it's been an absolute pleasure, like having you on and chewing the fat over your career so far, and especially after just the mad few weeks that you've had. And probably that's going to extend. I'm like, when are you thinking you're going to get some downtime? Do you think?
Well, after this camp, I think I'll have a week and a bit off, just to spend with my family, and I'll be able to enjoy that, and then it'll be a case of just getting straight back into the thick of things again because our season will start and we've got European football. So we need to get focused again. But yeah, I'll look forward to that. Just downtime to spend with the family once it comes.
Yeah, I'm sure Soph and the girls will be looking forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Enjoy and good luck, especially the tournament and European football that's coming up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers for your time, David. Thanks again.
Right. Thanks, Daddy.
As always, thank you so much for listening to the Pop Pod this week. If you'd like to leave a review or share the podcast with others, then that'd be awesome. You'll find us on Instagram at the Pop Pod, and on Facebook we have a community group called Purpose to Progress that anyone can join. And we'll be back every Monday with a new episode, but until then, stay on purpose and we'll see you next week.